Hello guys, I'm back again with a commented review. Uh, Today bringing the Microsoft Flight Simulator Robinson R22 from CowanSim Simulator, CowanSim Simulations actually. The reason why I'm bringing a review of this machine is because I've been waiting for a long time. I've been flying it in X-Plane 12 for a long time as well. So without further ado, let's get into the cockpit. I really appreciated the job CowanSim did with the previous Robinson R66 or 66, yeah, the turbine version of Robinson R44, to be honest, because it's very similar. And they released it. They just released this model in here that is the R22. It's just available for now. It's just available at their website. It's not available at Xbox Microsoft Store yet, but of course it will be soon. And without further ado, let's jump to the startup. Let's verify rotor brake disengaged. We may come with the battery to on and twist the keys. Clear prop. Perfect. Let's raise the RPM a little bit, not that much. The throttle is very sensitive and I'm having a few issues with the governor, but this is pretty much usual with flight simulator helicopters, and I'm pretty sure Cowan will be solving this issue soon. Okay, let's make a engine warm up, and when the clutch light comes out, we're able to raise the RPM. I forgot to turn my strut and navigation lights on. Let's close these doors. Clutch light is out. Now we are able to raise a little bit our RPM and make the needle split test. Alright, needle split. Now let's set the RPM to 75. Let it sit there. It's a little bit higher, but I guess this is fine. Okay, it's dropping. Let me try to stabilize. Alright, it is stable. Let's try the left magnetos. Slight drop. Come back to both. Lovely. And let's try the right magneto. Perfect. Magnetos back to both. We come back to our sit position. And now, last but not least, engine low RPM horn test. Not actually engine, but low RPM horn test. Okay. Low RPM horn is yelling. We're able to raise our RPM by twisting the throttle, and when we come here where we want to get, very carefully we can turn on the governor. And the best experience I've had using the governor here is just turning on the governor and twisting back the throttle to idle. I'm not quite sure why, but when leaving the throttle to full, I used to experience a high RPM in some situations. So we are ready to go. A slight tailwind, so let's watch that. We are right now at Braga Airport in Portugal. A beautiful morning using live weather. Okay, too much pedals. Let's come back and start it again. My pedals, I have changed the sensitivity, so they are a bit tricky. But as you can see, I'm not struggling that hard to maintain a hover. Of course, I'm very used to fly the R22 in the simulation, so don't expect to be something easy to maintain a hover. I had to practice a lot, and I'm not even quite good at it, to be honest. So just by testing and feeling the aircraft, I can already tell that there's a very nice pendulum effect, you know, that feeling of being dragged and trying to control where the helicopter is going to. That's something that we can pretty much feel in the real machine and feel inside X-Plane 12 version. Very well done, a very realistic flight model, I have to say. The pedal's behavior is also amazing. And when I mean pendulum effect, I mean the momentum the aircraft has. From the moment I have to twist the aircraft like this to provide some movement, it requires some time until the aircraft responded to me. So it's a very cool feature, a very realistic feeling. Another thing that I have to say that I have really appreciated in this aircraft is how real it is to settle with power. Settling with power is pretty much the power you will be needing to maintain the aircraft flying in a field situation, depending on the altitude, on the weight, and the maneuver you pull in this thing. You can pretty much lose. You don't lose power, but you don't have enough power to keep yourself flying, and the engine RPM and the rotor RPM start to drop. I have been experiencing this while testing this machine, as we supposed to expect from a small aircraft. Piston aircraft doesn't have that much power, so I had a few situations where I experienced low RPMs because of settling with power. This is very good. This is very cool because most of the helicopters in Flight Simulator doesn't display a nice feeling of settling with power. They used to have more power than they should in real life, than they have in real life, and then they should. X-Plane is very good in delivering this, and that's the main reason why I used to fly X-Plane so much, because Flight Simulator graphics are just from another world, and makes me very happy to see that Cowan is trying to get that simulation feeling from X-Plane to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Even because CowanSim came from producing helicopters to X-Plane, so they seem to know and have a very good knowledge of it. They have the know-how of building helicopters. So let me try to show you one example of low rotor RPM. I'm gonna try to pull the collective as far as I can and see if the RPM comes down. You see that? That's instant. It comes down instantly, as it should be, because that's pretty much, as far as I know, what happens in real life. Maybe the timing isn't perfect, maybe it's not necessarily the same timing, but it's very close to the real thing. Okay, let me come to let me bring the governor down, because the only way I have to have authority over the throttle. And now I can roll back the throttle to idle and try to perform the auto. I feel that the machine drops pretty fast. It's hard to get control again after the first dive. As you can see, needles in the correct place. We can come to a flare here. And it was a tight but a nice landing. One cool thing is that it doesn't have much energy absorbed into the blades like some other aircrafts, some other helicopters in simulators, not only in Flight Simulator but also in X-Plane. Sometimes when we perform a auto-rotation, the blades still have too much energy, and with this we're able to have a small hover after the total touchdown. This aircraft doesn't display this. The rudder energy pretty much drops as it should during the auto-rotation practice. Very impressive, I have to say. This behavior is something we see in the X-Plane 12 version of the R22, and it's very impressive to see this in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and feels like a barrier being broken. Okay, let me see if I'm not going to have any issues in this takeoff. Okay, the governor seems to have the authority here. So for the final comments, all I have to say is I love it. It's lovely. It's way above all my expectations, and of course I'm a fan of this helicopter. I love small helicopters. I love how they behave, how tricky they are, and I'm very impressed. So in my opinion, of course, you can buy it without any fear, because it works every penny. Okay guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.